Hey everybody, I'm Nicole Danielle. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here for the first time. I'm glad that you're here. We are going to be talking about high school health curriculum, the way I do things, and if you're new here, I have 3 boys that I homeschool. Actually, one of them is off to college in the fall, so I'll have 2 more at home. And I have a second high schooler and then one still in elementary school. So if you like content like that, we also talk Bible and life updates. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Hey guys, I just wanted to jump on here, editing my video, and it was kind of incredible, just looking at everything. I'm actually grateful that I did this whole entire health curriculum the way I homeschool. It's super easy, and I was really defeated last year, and I can I think it's probably safe to say that we all get there and we feel like we're not doing a good enough job. We feel like we're not doing enough. We're super defeated and super like, oh, but will they ever get it? But seeing all these incredible books and all these incredible resources that we can pull through. Sorry, I'm holding my phone. It's wonderful to see the feast that we spread and over time. And if one year is just terrible, that's okay. Oh, wow. Okay, sorry. The kids are jumping apparently. But if we have one bad year or one bad month or one bad season, that's okay, because this is a lifestyle that we've chosen, and it's a lifestyle that it allows us to do life with our kids. It's not about getting through a curriculum book. It's not about finishing all the pages and answering all the questions and getting all the tests right. And it's about your kid's heart. And that was wonderful. That was like a breath of fresh air. I'm so grateful that I feel like the Holy Spirit kind of gave that to me. Just saying, it's okay, Mama, it's enough. You know, it's okay if you struggle. And it's okay if you have a bad season. It's okay when you go through the hard times, because that is a life lesson that truly they need to learn before they spread their wings and fly away, right? So that's all I really wanted to come here and say, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. And yeah, just again, just one more time, and maybe I'll say it 1,000 more times, just give yourself some grace and look at the whole big picture. It's very hard for us to see it, the whole big picture, where we see just day in and day out, and that big fight, and that math, and that question, and that argument, and that meltdown. But just keep going and keep your head up and just keep feeding their sweet, precious hearts. Okay, bye guys. Enjoy the video. I have most everything that we have used. When I was pulling everything for this video, I discovered that I threw away something. It was our Abeka for our 9th grade, sometimes 8th grade, because the health class that I did use for both of my older boys, we used it in 8th grade. I believe that it is for 8th through 12th grade. It's their high school health curriculum. We always do that in the 8th grade. And I'm assuming my brain said, go ahead and throw it away, because, you know, by the time that your youngest needs it, they'll probably put out something new, and I'll probably just go ahead and purchase that. My mug, isn't that cute? That's the way I feel. So we always do that in 8th grade. There's that. Moving on. I wish I could show it to you, but I cannot. And so the way that we do health class is we do all 4 years, I guess. 4 years, yes, 5 years. 8th grade through 12th grade. If they still need it, if there's still things to watch and to do, we listen to, oh, I forgot a book. I have to go grab that book. So everything that I'm going to show you is in no particular order. I did not write down the specific years that we did this. This is going to be totally up to you if you decide to pull any of these choices that I share with you. Some of this comes from Ambleside. Some of this comes from just me Google searching or YouTube searching or whatever, books. Some of this is, from my friends' suggestions. So health to us is more than just a simple health class. It's more than just, this is your body, this is what it does, biology, like sex education. It's more than just basics. Like, that's great and all. And I think that's what Abeka covers, just like your basics. But we go into purity and how to actually take care of your body, natural medicine, food, things. You'll kind of see a trend, especially when I start sharing the videos that I have for you. Yes. Being able to be a human, a kind, good citizen, I think all of that is wrapped up in our health classes. So, okay. Book number 1. It's I Kissed Dating Goodbye by Joshua Harris. If you don't love it, that's okay. You don't have to tell me what's going on with this person. He wrote it a long time ago. It's a fine book. It helped. Just because he is different now doesn't necessarily mean that it was a bad book when he wrote it. The way we also do things is I present material to my children and we discuss it. And sometimes we don't agree with the book that we're reading, and that's okay. And that's actually a good thing, I think, to present material to your children, to challenge their brains and to say, this is why I agree with this, or this is why I disagree with this. So, again, your home, your children, you know your children better than anybody. This next one is from Joel Salatin. It's called Folks, This Ain't Normal. A farmer's advice for happier hens, healthier people, and a better world. I love this book. I have read bits and pieces of this book. This is exciting. My son, if you watched any of my homeschool videos, I don't know when my son read this, but he kept pulling this book out. And he's like, you need to read this. You need to read this. The next one is called The Dental Diet. The Surprising Link Between Your Teeth, Real Food, and Life-Changing Natural Health by Dr. Stephen Lynn. Okay. Hal and Melanie Young. Love, Honor, and Virtue. Gaining or Regaining a Biblical Attitude Toward Sexuality. If you're here any longer, if you've been here for any length of time, you know that I love these people. They have a whole host of books for you to read. This is boy specific. This goes over, this is boy specific. I don't know if your daughter would get much out of this. This chapter 1 is to the young men on the battlefield. 2, sex was God's idea. 3, it's all connected. 4, the enemy perverts God's design. 5, how can a young man keep his way pure? 6, recovering from a fall. 7, guys and girls. And then 8, the road ahead. This was incredible. They're short sections. They're super easy to divide up reading into like short daily reads, or you can read a whole chapter in a sitting. Super easy. But, sometimes less is more, especially for those conversations. So like chapter 3, the enemy perverts God's design. One of them is called Sin, Hookups, Gender Bending, and Porn. History and the culture aren't helping us. Giving up and giving in. Thoughts and feelings count. The rising tide of pornography. Never a victimless crime. It's talking about sexual sin. Victimizes the sinner first. Yeah, sexting. Think before you use your phone. Words are powerful too. Masturbation. It covers it all. It's talking about it's deep. It's very deep, and take it bite-sized pieces. Both of my boys have read that. This other one that I have them read is called, it's Charlotte Mason's volume 4, called Ourselves. It might not look like this necessarily. There are tons of them out there. This one is Seven Treasures Publications. I'm not exactly certain where I found it at though. But this is going over the country of the man's soul, the house of the body, the house of the mind, the house of the heart, self-direction, conscious in the house of the body and the house of the mind, the function of the conscious. Like, it's talking about like conviction of sin, ruling over your brain, the will, having a willless life, will and willfulness, the soul, it's the capacities of the soul, the disabilities of the soul, the knowledge of God, prayer, thanksgiving, praise, faith in God. And this is read over 2 or 3 years. This one is called This Changes Everything. How the Gospel Transformed the Teen Years by, Crowe. Written by a teenager. I like football, movies, sushi, and dark chocolate, but the biggest, most crucial, most significant thing about me is is that my life's task is to follow Jesus. He is the one who changed my life. That's what this book is about. It's for teenagers eager to reject the status quo and low standards our culture sets for us. It's for those of us who don't want to spend the adolescent years slacking off, but rather standing out and digging deep into what Jesus says about him, about following him. This book will help you see how the truth about God changes everything, our relationships, our time, our sin, our habits, and more, freeing us to live joyful, obedient, and Christ-exalting lives even while we're young. So, really good book. This one, I believe, is read 8th or 9th grade. This comes from Ambleside. It's called Fearfully and Wonderfully Made. There is a chapter in here that I forgot to mark. I do so apologize. There's just like a notice on the Ambleside website talking about you might want to be careful because it talks about something controversial, but really with what we've already covered, there's probably not much more that this body can cover that is more controversial than anything else that my children and I discuss. It's talking about cells, members, specialization, diversity, worth, unity, service, and mutiny. Bones, a frame, hardness, freedom, growth, adapting, inside out. Skin, visibility, perceiving, complacency, transmitting, loving, and confronting. Motion, movement, balance, dysfunctions, hierarchy, and guidance. And then 25 is a presence. Okay, I do want to read this last section to you. It's really good. It's just the little last paragraph of the preface. It says, if it ever bothers you that we explore the body analogy more fully than the Bible does, please close this book. We do not want to bend truth to fit an analogy. On the other hand, you may find, as we did, that the human body expresses spiritual reality so authentically that soon the common stuff of matter will appear more and more like a mere shadow. think I'm going to take it, go find it in the Ambleside website and link the warning or whatever, parental discretion advisory or whatever, down in the comment section for that book. Or if I don't think that it matters at all, then I won't do that, and you can find that out for yourself. Another series that I know I've shown probably 3 or 4 different times is the Biblical Sexuality series. Now, this isn't all high school stuff. This starts 7 lessons to introduce your child to biblical sexuality. This starts like puberty is when I introduced them to these. A little bit before that, maybe same time. And then it does have a puberty book. And then the one that we use in high school is called Relationships. That's like a 10th, 11th grade. 11 lessons to give kids a greater understanding of biblical sexuality. It says biblical counselors realize the need for helpful material in dealing with teenagers and sex. The proper application of outstanding work by parents to children will save broken hearts and crisis counseling in the years to follow. That was just a little blurb that somebody wrote down. So there's an introduction to the parents of like how to use the book. So I'll just read the chapter headings for you guys. Sex done right, sex gone wrong. There are subheadings also. So sex done right is sexual and relational desires were created good. Sex gone wrong, how sin has brought sexual and relational brokenness. Every kind of impurity, how the sinful world ruins relationships. 3 strategies for holy relationships, run from, run to, and run with. Guarding the heart, running from internal temptations. Guarding the eyes, running from visual temptations. Guarding the body, running from physical temptations. Pursuing Christ, running to God in a sexually broken world. Pursuing integrity, running with the opposite sex. Pursuing holiness, running with accountability. And forgiven, pursuing repentance in relational brokenness. And then it has a self-assessment for students and a fostering accountability online is part of the appendix. So there's that. I highly suggest you look up that. It's Luke and Trisha Gilkerson. They have a website. It is called intoxicatedonlife.com. And you can watch some videos and things like that. And they'll kind of explain that. The last book that I have to show you guys is called Boundaries. It is from Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. John Townsend. I do believe they have a Boundaries for Teens book that you could totally sub for this one. I have this one. I'm currently reading this one for myself, going through this. And I thought it was so excellent that I went ahead and just handed it to my senior. I was like, you need to read this book before you head off to college. That is probably what I will end up doing with my other children. I might, however, go ahead and purchase that Boundaries for Teens book as well. After I finish this one, maybe read that for myself and then pick and decide which one is better and which one I do believe a young adult heading off into college needs to read. Because this does talk about your spouses and things, but then they could definitely skip those chapters or they can read it. So other than books that we do, and remember that these are spread out over 8th through 12th grade. So this is not the health curriculum 1 year, get it done, because that is not the way I school. We do videos, documentaries. So on Amazon Prime, we have watched Food as Medicine and then Back to Eden film. The Back to Eden film is more like gardening and things. On Netflix, we have What the Health, Cowspiracy. Cowspiracy is really cool. Talking about how we farm our food and how ridiculous it is. And there's one also called Take Your Pills. I'm certain that you can figure out what that one's about. That's on Netflix. And then I did not list all the things on YouTube. I have a YouTube playlist. It's public. It is called High School Health. All of my videos that I have watched have assigned to my students or will assign in the future to my future students are there. It's a great, it is a Yep, that word. It's a great playlist to get you started. In there, you will find documentaries, videos done well, TED Talks, talking about, like, I don't know, boundaries and social media things. My children are not on social media. They understand the risks. They do not want them. They have no interest in Snapchat or Facebook or whatever the cool kids are on these days. So that has been a non-issue in my home, but they still know the dangers of it, and they still, if that's one that I strongly encourage your children and yourself to watch, is the dangers of social media. That is on YouTube. It is free. It is incredible. I believe everybody should watch that. It's eye-opening and terrifying. So that's it for health class for us. That's what we do. Of course, you know, PE, gym class, whatever sports that they might be in, you can count that all towards credit hours. I think I'll cut it there. I think that's enough information for the day. If you have any more questions, I'm glad that I have been able to pull this video together for you guys. I hope this works out for you. I hope this helps. I wish you all the good luck and all the success in your home. Make sure that you are speaking to their hearts. Make sure that you are reading your child and having those open and honest conversations. Don't be afraid. Don't make it weird and awkward. I mean, they might, if this is the first time you've ever discussed anything with them, the birds and the bees and things like that. That's another good suggestion I have for you. Don't call it the birds and the bees, just call it sex. And don't be awkward and weird. I don't want to get flagged. Maybe I wouldn't say the actual words. I've said that word a lot. But for the body parts, call them by their technical names. Don't call them frou-frou names. It just makes it more weird. Okay? So they'll take their cues from you. They might think it's super weird, but eventually they'll get over it. And I would much rather have my children discussing all things awkward with me than getting it elsewhere, and they will get it elsewhere. So that's it. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, click the subscribe button, and I will see you, hopefully, God willing, next week. Bye, guys. Okay, so first things first. I will say something. I fix my hair, and then I touch my hair. Ha ha. Okay. And my bad. Sorry.